you don't find a way to wake up, you may lose yourself. Forever.
Even the greatest heroes can't live forever. So it goes for Ezio Auditore, who finally steps aside to make room for new champions in Assassin's Creed Revelations. The game sets you loose in a visually stunning recreation of 15th century Constantinople, where you leap across rooftops like a Renaissance superhero. But like many sequels, Revelations giveth, and Revelations taketh away. You lose horses and other series staples in favor of awkward mechanics that don't belong. Those include first-person platforming and tower defense battles, neither of which are very good. Thankfully, when Revelations remembers to be an Assassin's Creed game, it reminds you of what makes this series so great.
It is a relief to see you again.
What's happening? I can't move. I can't. No!
Revelations isn't all Ezio's story, it's also Desmond's. Here, Desmond's mind is a prisoner within the Animus. This computerized space is presented as an island where shimmering doors lead to his ancestral memories as well as his own. Playing as Desmond isn't as entertaining as it was in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That's due in part to the levels that represent his memories. The synthetic cyberspace environments are a cool backdrop, but the gameplay isn't fun. You create blocks and ramps out of thin air to move forward, but the jumping feels flat, and the puzzles don't tax your mind, they're just frustrating. This is one of Revelations' attempts to force elements into a game that doesn't benefit from them. Fortunately, you spend the bulk of your time as Ezio, and sometimes as Altair from the original game. Scenes near the game's conclusion throb with emotional resonance. Yes, there are a few great holy cow moments near the end, but it's the calm before the storm that ties two lives together and thus impresses most. It makes you realize you will miss these assassins of centuries past. As for Ezio's story, it's as tired as the older Ezio looks. Great voice actors sell every line, but the political intrigue among the Sultan's family just isn't that interesting.
Now, the keys. First, the girl.
Still, Revelations largely impresses thanks to how much fun it is to move through its world. That's partly because of the gorgeous views. It's partly because of the fantastic soundtrack, but it's also because climbing and leaping is so joyful. The addition of the hook blade enhances the parkour of past games. You can climb faster, glide down zip lines, and grab walls you would have missed in the past. You can also float downwards with parachutes. The result? Platforming is as exhilarating as ever, and certain set-piece missions, like one in which you escape a burning boat, ramp up the excitement. Not every set-piece moment is as good as that one. Avoiding rocks as you're dragged behind a careening carriage isn't fun, for example. Brotherhood did these kinds of scripted events better, though Revelations does make important improvements. Assassin recruitment returns, but sending your brothers and sisters on missions now has more context. Sending assassins to different cities reduces Templar control and increases assassin control. The simple addition of a strategic element keeps recruitment from being simple busy work. In addition, there are quests you do with fully leveled assassins. Now, you actually feel like a mentor. An addition that isn't so good is that of tower defense. You capture Templar regions by killing commanders and lighting signal fires, but the Templars will try to get them back, which means having to play a boring tower defense game. You stand on a roof, assign assassins to different locations, and try to defeat waves of enemies. But the simple mechanics and structure make this a dull exercise, and the camera close-ups of falling Templars disrupt the flow. Tower defense isn't all that's new. Now you can craft bombs out of ingredients you find. Combine them at a crafting station and voila! Bombs that explode, release poison gas, and so on. Combat has seen other changes, such as awesome new finishing moves and the addition of enemy gunners. Multiplayer returns as well, with some new modes like Deathmatch and a Capture the Flag variant. Deathmatch doesn't have the tension that the returning modes do. It's still more enjoyable to sling through the crowds, blending in while hoping your target slips up and makes himself known. Artifact Assault gives you a chance to speed across rooftops with the enemy's flag, which is quite fun.
Assassin!
But Assassin's Creed Revelations is at its best when it focuses on what the series does best. The first-person puzzling and tower defense are bewildering additions, but when you skyrocket across the rooftops of this magnificent city, the stunning sights transport you to another century.
Many generations of men have ruled this city, but they have never subdued her. She always bounces back.
It seems a fine place to call home.
It is. Race you to the bottom,